The pressure on Ilhan Omar in Minnesota is reaching an absolute boiling point. You see, a state committee gave her a hard deadline to turn over records tied to a $250 million fraud scheme. And you know what she's doing? Well, she's stonewalling. Now, if you're tired of politicians dodging accountability, when if you or I did the exact same thing, we would face consequences for those actions, smash the subscribe button right now because we're tracking every refusal and every demand for answers here on Resist the Mainstream. My name is Chris Hand. I'm coming to you live from Nashville, Tennessee. This all goes back to the Feeding Our Future scandal. It was one of the largest fraud cases in American history. There were kids that needed to be fed, but, spoiler alert, there were no kids. There was just stolen tax dollars. Millions in federal funds were meant for children's meals, stolen through fake programs, fake invoices, and a network that funneled money to insiders and, spoiler alert, a lot of Somalis. Ilhan Omar's name has been tied to this for months now, and this scheme has also tied Ilhan Omar into it through multiple email chains with the fraudster who was in charge of it. One chain of emails was literally had the subject of Ilhan's office. Now, she has repeatedly refused to answer any questions about this. She has repeatedly refused to cooperate with investigators. She has dodged questions, and she's skipped hearings. Now, anybody else that did this, it would be a massive red flag. And if this was a conservative doing the exact same thing, make no mistake about it, it would be headline news on CNN, ABC, NBC, CBS, and even Fox. But because it's Ilhan Omar, it's no big deal. Nobody really even seems to care, except for the Minnesota House Fraud Prevention and State Oversight Committee. They want some answers, and they gave her a firm deadline to produce all requested documents up to and including those emails. Well, on Tuesday, that deadline came and went. Still no emails. Isn't that interesting? Ilhan Omar has now officially refused to turn over the documents. Again, my friends, if you or I did this, we would be facing some serious trouble. But it's Ilhan Omar, so she doesn't feel like consequences are coming her way whatsoever. She's currently hiding, refusing to respond or appear. This is no longer just suspicion, this is obstruction, and she does need to be held accountable. The Somali pirate known as Ilhan Omar needs to face criminal investigations, federal investigations. She knew exactly what was going on. At least that's my suspicion. And this demands federal involvement immediately. It's time for Ilhan Omar to face consequences, be denaturalized, and deported. So question for you. Should Ilhan face a federal investigation? And where do you think that federal investigation will lead? Let us know what you think in the comments. We read every single one. Here's the latest on Ilhan Omar and her refusal to turn over those documents tied to the massive Feeding Our Future fraud scandal. $250 million gone in the blink of an eye. It's wild, but it is so believable. And I think Ilhan Omar is guilty as charged here, guys. Let me know what you think in the comments. Check this out.
Squad Democrat Ilhan Omar closing in on a deadline set by Minnesota Republicans to turn over documents about potential ties to a state fraud ring after she dodged a hearing last month. Our senior correspondent Mike Tobin is reporting live out of Chicago. He's got the latest details for us. Hey, Mike.
And Sandra, that deadline is today for Minnesota Congresswoman Ilhan Omar to turn over documents and communication tied to defendants in that massive Feeding Our Future scandal. The Minnesota House Committee on Fraud Prevention and State Agency Oversight is holding its last meeting of the legislative session today. However, the committee does not have enough votes to subpoena the Congresswoman, so the committee doesn't have a legal mechanism to compel Omar to cooperate. The chair of the committee has sent Omar multiple invitations and requests for documents. Omar does not respond. Omar now sponsored the 2020 Meals Act, which removed the guardrails on COVID relief money and helped the fraud run up to $250 million. Despite that, the chair of the Fraud Prevention Committee does not anticipate the Minnesota congressman will respond by the deadline.
It shows her continued disdain for the taxpayers. She feels like she's above having to answer for her involvement in the fraud and her responsibility as a member of Congress who, she passed the bill that took the guardrails off the school nutrition program that led to the conditions that enabled Feeding Our Future.
Now, Amy Bach was convicted as the mastermind of the Feeding Our Future scandal. Defendants billed the government never provided through existing restaurants and sham companies. Now, in Bach's trial, Omar's name appeared in an email chain with Bach. Trial evidence showed text communication with Bach and Omar. Trial evidence also showed Bach exchanged emails with one of the defendants who fled the country. The title of that email chain was Ilhan's Office. Now, back in January, our Alexis McAdams interviewed Amy Bach. She said she never spoke directly with Representative Omar, only people in her office, and the conversation, she said, were never substantive.